I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, April the 9th. Guns up, Texas Tech, go Red Raiders, Wreck-'em Tech. You don't get a chance very often to root for a Cowboy school to win a major championship like that. I'm recording this Monday shortly before the game. I wanted to make sure I got it done because the way some of those people acted in Lubbock after they won the last game. I'm 100 miles away. I'm not sure how far the raping and pillaging is going to go, but I'm going to be on the lookout if they head my way. But let's look at the board for Monday. April live cattle futures down a quarter at 125.80. The out front's still a little bit higher, but that nearby had a lot of delivery pressure on it. But at 125.80, you figure the market, the cash market in the Southern Plains last week was 124. There's not a lot of hope they can gain any ground on that. Did hear maybe a deal or two that 124 on Monday sometimes. Takes about a buck and a half to really make it worth doing, but a lot of times those big outfits will go ahead and deliver some just to scare some of those longs off and bring that board back a little bit, make the basis more true. But of course, when it does that, it's taking it down a little bit, and we really don't need any more downers on this market. But your rest of them were a little bit higher, and then more so when you got way out front, and we're still seeing support way out front due to the Chinese hog situation. But June live cattle futures up 22 cents at 120.57. April feeder cattle up 57 cents at 146.72, and May was up 35 cents at 150.57. Your weighted average on last week's fat cattle trade, just a moderate trade of 69,400 head in your 5-area feeding region. Once again lighter than a year ago, and they're selling significantly less cattle as the year goes on. You start adding them up, negotiated cash. Year ago, this past week was 77,500, but almost every week with just one or two this year, calendar year so far, we've been lighter. But your weighted average on live steers in the 5-area feeding region ranged from 124 to 126 for the most part. But more live sales in the northern plains, and I think a lot of those up there in that Colorado, western Nebraska area, selling at a higher, up towards that 26, and more so than the 24 added up to be in the southern plains. So your weighted average price on a live basis was 125.30. That was down $1.04, but not quite as bad as what we thought. Your dress steers range from 204 to 206 mostly, with an weighted average steer dress price of 204.41. That was down $1.19. You add up all your nationwide negotiated sales, only 82,500 head. I tell you what, I remember, guys, 20 years ago when I was working in the Market News office in Amarillo, every week your Texas feedlot areas would sell 100,000, Nebraska would sell 100,000, Kansas would sell 100,000, and between Iowa and Colorado, they'd have over 100,000. Every week you could count on it. Nationwide total negotiated cash sales of fed cattle, 82,500 head. And they traded. I mean, it wasn't like they didn't have a trade week. That was a traded week. 15,900 of those, or about 19%, were for the 15 to 30 day delivery. Your forward contracts, and we've noted that of late your forward contracting has become more popular than maybe it was over the last several years. Your April contracts are 75,000 head more than a year ago, so they did quite a bit that. But as we go through the spring and the bulk of the summer, your contracts compared to a year ago are a little bit lighter until we get out to August, and I think that could really be when the hammer comes down, is about August. But look at your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on Cattle Market Central, later in the afternoon on Monday, 139.71, up 42 cents, and most of your big high volume sales were higher, getting along real good. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma National Stockyard, 6,400 head there. Feeder steers were steady, with the heavier feeder steers weighing over 8, and that would get most all those cattle going to the feedlot. Most of the little lighter cattle weighing under 8 would be going out to some type of grass forage, unless they were pretty fleshy, and then they'd have to go to the feedlot too. But most all of your feeder steers were steady to $2 lower. The lighter end of your feeder steers steady. Feeder heifers steady to $2 higher. Steer calves steady to $4 higher again, and heifer calves steady to $1 higher. A good test of your feeder market at Oklahoma City come from National Livestock Commission. Look at this string here we picked up on Cattle Market Central. 86 head of 824 pound steers bring $140-150, and that is a good price on good cattle in the Southern Plains right in the center of Oklahoma. Joplin Regional Stockyard, 6,000 head there. Feeder steers steady to $3 higher, so kind of typical of Oklahoma too. Steers under 8 and your heifers under 650, so most all your calves and stocker cattle $3 to $5 higher. Still pushing on them. I would say they will for another week or so. Might drop off a little bit after April 15th because a lot of your bigger turnout areas will be stocked by then, and so you'll just have some guys going to more traditional turnout places for later, or your kind of local weekend warrior type guys picking around the edges. But we got all this week and maybe next week of a continued hard push buying these stocker cattle. But look at Joplin Regional Stockyards, a big string of cattle there. Commodity cattle, Joplin Regional Stockyards, this is the market, guys. 141 head of steers, weighed $754 at $148. Pretty good price there. Elgin Livestock Sales, Elgin, Nebraska. Ted Baum, I talked to him there late on Friday, or actually Friday morning. Went by the sale there. He and his wife were working, sorting the cattle up for the sale on the Monday. He told me they had some good green 6-weight cattle there. Sure enough, he did. They sold well. You look at this report on Cattle Market Central from Elgin, Nebraska. 1,400 head there. A good sale on feeders. He also had a good run of cows and things too. But steers, look on the popular weight, 6-weight steers, 210 head of them, average 653 at 162.45. And on the heifers, 177 head of heifers in the 6-weight category. They average 649 pounds at 149.99. And look at this quote out of Elgin, 73 head of 674 head of stocker steers there, bring 163.50. But top quote goes to Budge there at Fort Smith Stockyards in Fort Smith, Arkansas. 74 head of 912 pound steers there on Monday, bring 138.75. That's your feeder flash for Tuesday.